gotta say, I am fantastic, la la la, I am fantastic.
'Tis the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la, la la la. Hope you're enjoying these Christmas videos. Stay tuned for the one coming up. I think you're going to love it. I know you're going to love it. Good morning, everyone. I have an exciting interview for you this morning. But before I go to the interview and introduce you to this beautiful young lady, I want you to know that I've been Santa. Dr. Fantastic turned into Santa this month. As you know, I've been growing this beard since December 25th of last year. It's December 23rd, so 2 days it'll be a year. My granddaughter said, Santa doesn't have a short beard. So I said, okay, wait till next year. So I've been having a hell of a great time bringing joy to the children. And that's what the Be Fantastic movement's going to be doing. But the Doc Ree, who I'm going to introduce you to in a second, I'm on her front page of her website, and it's beautiful what she says. She says, hi, I'm Dr. Rhiannon Hutton, alternative doctor, philanthropist, visionary. I specialize in helping people turn their worst problems into solutions for the world. And Ree has just become one of our ambassadors of positivity, and I look forward to helping the world be a better place with her help, because, you know, we have 117 ambassadors now, and I'm very happy that they all believe in the movement. We've got thousands of viewers, as you might know, on YouTube, 145 podcasts, a radio show every month, and motivational meetings once a month in the marina here. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Ree. Ree, welcome to the Be Fantastic movement. And you are an ambassador of only a couple days.
That's right, and it's fantastic to be here. And I must say, what an amazing beard it is. It definitely does the trick. I've seen some other Santas, and this one looks real. And it's fantastic to have you in the neighborhood.
Yes, we're neighbors, and we are both philanthropists and visionaries, and it takes an army of these kind of people to make the world a better place. You probably haven't watched a lot of my videos, but because of the overcrowdedness in all the major metropolises around the world, it's turned the society into a greedy, selfish, litigious world. And you and I and the team that I have can help make it a more civil world. And as you might know, the Be Fantastic motto is pollinating positivity and cultivating civility.
Ooh.
And I was telling you earlier, and you know, all my interviews, my 3,000 plus interviews, never rehearsed, never a second take, and never an edit. It's just you and me having a great conversation, and that's what life's all about. It's being real, you know, not scripted and not flashy lights. Well, speaking of flashy lights, if you guys are watching, go back and watch some of my other Santa videos. I arrived to the Beethoven Elementary School the other day in a fire truck, with the lights blaring and the sirens screaming to hundreds of kids. I got out of the truck and I was swarmed by the children hugging me, and there's no better feeling than to bring joy to these children at the time of Christmas. Everyone should get to experience being a Santa once. It's fantastic. So without further ado, Ree, tell us first about yourself before we talk about how you're changing the world. Where are you from?
I'm from Orange County, and I recently was in North Carolina near Chapel Hill, where I had the pleasure to work with some amazing people, amazing patients who had been through many Western clinical trials for all kinds of different problems, a lot of kids. And when Western medicine wasn't able to help them anymore, they sent them my way, and sometimes we had the most amazing results just miracles. And so my greatest pleasure is to help people with enjoying the magic of the moment again. Because really, any pain is an interruption in the ability to enjoy the magic of the moment. And so thank you for what you're doing as well with bringing more magic to more kids, because that's where it's at.
Well, all we have is the moment, you know, and all we have is time, and it's very limited. Before you know it, you're an old guy like me, but I still feel young. That's what's amazing about people hear me on the phone, and when they finally see what I look like, they can't believe it. They think I'm 26 because I feel 26.
Right, absolutely. And if you read any of like the ancient Eastern medicine books where they were into cultivating chi, or the energy of life, they talk about how important it is to act young, because it's going to actually give you youthful hormones, and that in change will change your physiology, your
See,
body.
now I don't know how I came about the knowledge I have. I didn't go to school. Now I am Dr. Fantastic. That's my nickname. You're a real doctor. The reason they call me Dr. Fantastic is because I have the prescription for a happier and longer life. And as I dispense these prescriptions, like taking your shoes and socks off and walking on grass,
Right.
walking on the earth and walking on sand, I just knew it was mentally good for you and physically good for you. Recently, someone sent me the millions of dollars of research that show it's a grounding and it's an earthing effect.
Beautiful.
Right?
Beautiful.
I didn't know the science behind it, but I knew it worked. So a lot of my theories on life, and which is, positive thinking manifests positive action, and positive emotions are important. So those things, it's all in your head anyway, right? I think, I love Rene Descartes. I think, therefore I am. And I tell people every day, if you think you're beautiful, happy, and successful, you are.
That's
if you
right.
think you're ugly, a failure, and unhappy, you are that.
That's right. That's
Right?
right. And here's something that's really interesting. And the ancients knew this, and my goal is to bring it back in something called unified field integration.
Okay.
The ancients knew that everything was interrelated. So if you thought it, then it would affect your physiology and your emotions, right?
Right.
And vice versa, and in and out of order. And so what they would do is they would create like a motor strategy that represented a certain set of emotions.
Okay.
So we can do it right now. So for example, let's take the word fantastic.
Let me pause for one quick second. We had a camera malfunction here.
We're into higher consciousness, spirituality, how our thoughts affect our body and affect our life. And the ancients knew this, right? And it's like there was a great forgetting, and now we're remembering again.
It probably was forgotten, and it's probably because of the greed and just the strife to make more money. Everyone's out there just to make money. Sometimes I'll interrupt you because that's my style.
Yeah,
because if I don't think of it right then.
That's actually how women communicate, so I'm perfectly okay with
that
that.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's good because you can only be yourself.
Yes.
You can't be someone else.
Yeah,
and
that's
if
right.
you're true to yourself and you're honest, life is beautiful. And in
right.
relationships, we can go on all different types. But I did lose the track because I didn't interrupt. But we'll keep going, and maybe it'll come back to me. But you're on the right track. I think it was when you were thinking about the monkey effect. When you walk into a crowd and you're smiling, it's transcending to the crowd, and the crowd will start smiling.
Yeah.
Smiling is one of the most healthy things you could do for your body. And the word fantastic forces you to smile. The only argument I've gotten about the Be Fantastic movement, about answering how are you with I am fantastic, is the millennials. And they'll say quite often, if I don't feel fantastic and I say it, I'm lying or I'm disingenuous. Well, that statement is a greedy statement if you think about it, because that means they're only thinking of themselves. When you say you're fantastic, there's two things that happen. Well, many things happen, but one is you're going to feel better because the word fantastic makes you smile, which releases the endorphins, the dopamine, the serotonin, and it makes you look great, and it makes you live longer because it's reducing stress. But it's also giving. When you say the word fantastic to someone, every time they will smile, which makes them live longer. Look, that's pretty kind. Now, the other day I was introduced as Dr. Fantastic to the rocket company that I'm going to start working with. And every time he introduced me as Dr. Fantastic instead of Monty, they couldn't believe what they were hearing. It's like,
Yes.
Dr. Fantastic? I've never met a Dr. Fantastic. So the laughter is the best medicine.
It is.
And
it really
we're
is.
both on the same track with that.
Yeah, and I see where the millennials are coming from. And the truth of the matter is if you allow yourself to actually feel the emotion, it only runs in your system for a few seconds. That's the amount of hormone that you have. If you don't actually let yourself feel it, and you decide to stay kind of in this, okay, I'm going to feel this way, but I'm not going to actually let myself feel why, right? Like
Okay.
the real root. Then you're kind of walking around and you're in the bad mood and you're not actually letting yourself feel it. So you can let yourself feel it for the few seconds when you wake up in the morning, And then you can put your hands up in the air, reach for the stars, and say and declare, I'm the true grand master of my own personal reality, right? And I have everything I need to be fantastic, to achieve what I want to achieve for humanity.
Now, throwing your hands up in the air is a wonderful thing you just did. When I recorded, because we're in 41 countries, the Be Fantastic movement.
Amazing.
And of those 41 people that brought this movement back to their country, who I met, when I had them say, I am fantastic in their language, 90% of the time, their arms, for some reason, get thrown off to the side.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. And in the technique, the hands-on technique that I use.
Gotta give you airtime to your little pup there.
What we do is we touch the spine very lightly in the areas of the spine that are associated with healing and joy, and it releases your own unique sound wave. We didn't even know this until very recently when USC Engineering wanted to know what was going on. Why are people wiggling and moving on their own? And what happens is you align to your own tune, if you will. And it's not something you can hear. It's not in the auditory range. But you end up releasing those hormones, those memories, all of those things that aren't actually in alignment with who you are. Because who you are is fantastic. You came here to be fantastic and to bring fantastic things to the world, right?
Now, Ree, what does fantastic mean? Do you know the definition of the word? Most people
but
don't.
I was playing with it yesterday and I was making it fun-tastic, and so I was
The word fantastic in the dictionary is defined as unimaginably good and beautiful. Now, why they threw the beautiful in there is fantastic. But I've been told recently, well, two things I'm going to tell you recently. One is just recently is that it's not a word, it's an energy because of what it's doing in your brain.
That's right.
By hearing it and by saying it. The other thing, I was told that the words be fantastic together in numerology translate in numerology to earth and health. How about that?
And
I couldn't get any luckier with this.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
We're really on this mission to not only be fantastic ourselves, but when our heart, for example, and this is heart math, beats in a state of joy, it actually will cause the other people around you's hearts to also beat in a state of joy, and the magnetic field of the earth, when there's enough people, will actually increase as well.
Now, I did another podcast. It was called Mind, something about the mind, where you can get 1,000 people thinking on the same thought, and that will heal someone, or it'll transact something.
Yeah, and it doesn't just heal someone now. You can actually use it to heal the past. So one of my favorite experiments, and I usually have to say it twice because our brain has so much trouble understanding it, they took people that were in the hospital and they had several thousand people pray for half the people that were in the hospital.
Okay.
And those people got out of the hospital in half the time with 80% less mortality rate. So it's like huge. Statistically speaking, that's like off the chart. It's
right.
Huge. And then here's the kicker. Those people were in the hospital in the past, and they just used a random number generator to pick the ones that were going to be prayed for.
Wow.
To show that our thoughts affect the past. Or,
yeah.
According to science, the future also, right?
Yes, of course.
So, because we perceive it as a timeline, but scientifically speaking, and maybe our subconscious does not as well, we don't have that timeline necessarily.
Well, I'm no scientist, and of course I'm no doctor, but I've been around the world. I've worked in 84 different professions. Wow. 84th being Santa, right?
Yes.
And I'll just do it for this year. I won't do it next year probably. Yeah. But I like to do everything once, and I like challenges. Mm-hmm. And this Be Fantastic movement is an incredible challenge. Actually, my wife thinks I'm crazy to spend as much time and effort in doing this. But I'm going to go with Steve Jobs, who once said, people who are crazy enough to think they can make a difference in the world are the ones that do. Yeah. But getting back to the power of the mind, I know that we haven't developed a computer as sophisticated as our mind. And I've seen levitation with the mind. Right. I totally believe that in 50 to 100 years, the really intelligent people on the planet will use telepathy to speak. As you do with your dog and with your parents.
That's right.
We're already using it to a small degree, but we're only using 3 to 5% of our brain capacity.
That's right.
Imagine when it's really strong, and it is a healing power. And to help others And people are maybe 2020 would be the year of helping others and being kind and considerate and friendly and polite.
Beautiful.
And that's what fantastic people are.
Yes.
But most importantly, civil. Be civil.
Yeah.
Right?
Use that heart.
And this, I talked to a lady in this building, and she said she was in an elevator once, and she said hello. They didn't say hello back. That is just plain rude.
Well, and coming from, and I mean, I'm from here, but living in Chapel Hill for a few years, you do see a big difference, like coming back to LA, and I think it is, it's fear and
It's a small town, Chapel Hill?
No, it's just in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
because
just a
my
different part of the
theory
country.
is that we're not civil here because there's no accountability, because when you're on the road, you don't know anyone. So why should you let someone in front of you?
Right.
Now, most people don't do good things unless there's a reward, right? They'll say, would you like to donate to my charity? Well, what do I get?
Right.
I get a dinner, I get a party, I get a gift, whatever, right? So I like to tell people, do good for goodness sake, right? For your sake. But imagine that you let someone in, and that's the person that you're going to the job interview to. You don't know them yet.
No, you
Total
don't.
stranger.
Yep.
You let them in, I'll bet you get the job. Conversely, imagine you don't let them in, and you're sitting there like an ass, thinking, God, I really should have let him in, and he's staring you down, and why wouldn't you let me in? I needed to get in, and that's the guy giving you the interview. So,
and really, that's how the unified field of energy information works, right? And this is how our hearts know when someone's beating in a state of joy. So all of the energy and information in the universe exists within us and around us and between us. And so if one of us is in that state of joy, it's absolutely contagious, right? And this is how the law of attraction works as well. So
and positive people attract positive people, right? Is that as well?
that's right. And I mean, there's no accident. I just moved in a couple days ago and we ran into each other in the coffee bar, right?
Yeah.
There's no accidents. And so everything's synchronistic, and we're creating our reality, just like you said. So one of the things that I'm on a mission to do, and maybe the podcast will help, is I use this unified field integration technique in corporations as well as one-on-one healing. And something I'm super interested is in working with an HR department to put together an experiment to see how when we can increase our conscious integration with the unified field, how does that affect our ability to conduct business and to think creatively? Because in my own personal business affairs, using this technique in conjunction with other people, you instantaneously find answers to the problems that you're looking to solve. Because that's how things work on a quantum level. They're instantaneous. We don't have to wait for it to be figured out. And so if we can access this, then we can solve problems that that are unsolvable otherwise. So I'm looking for maybe a tech company who also would be interested in combining what was previously perceived as alternative medicine into the field of corporate solutions.
Well, it is an energy. Like I'm a life coach as well, and a published author, as you might have known, and philosopher. But when I tell people that in sales, especially, I'm a really good salesman, because I'm the best salesman on the planet, actually, and it's not because of anything else. Because I believe in myself, one, but I'm not selling a product or a service. When I'm selling something, I'm selling my relationship with the end user. So I tell people, if you want to do good sales, have them look forward to your sales calls. Not like a dread, oh, Monty's calling me, I got to talk to this guy.
Right.
Oh, I get to talk to this person. So it's about energy, and it's about making other people feel good. And I think you can probably feel a smile over the phone.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes. You definitely can. Absolutely.
I need a sip of my coffee.
Absolutely. So something that the ancients knew, which we started to talk about, was that mind affects emotions, affects our physiology, right? And so one of the ways that we can affect all three very quickly is by creating a motor strategy that represents, or a body movement that represents a set of emotions. So,
well, throwing those hands out worked pretty well.
Exactly, like throwing the hands out. So a way that we can do this and increase our energy state really quickly is to, let's say, combine a couple of different perspectives. And this is from neuro-linguistic programming. They use this as well as epigenetics. So let's take the word fantastic, right? And now this is going to be an application run by both you and I in the field because we're working together as well as with all the viewers.
Sure.
So let's take fantastic, and then let's maybe take another word that...
Opposite?
No. The word that just came to mind from the field was novelty.
Okay.
So maybe today we want to experience fantastic novelty.
Okay.
Right? So let's go ahead and work with those two. So we're going to go fantastic, and you can just imagine you're doing it with me in the air. Fantastic and novelty.
Okay.
Fantastic, novelty.
Okay.
Fantastic, novelty. Fantastic, novelty. And we're going to say it faster and faster until the two blend together. Fantastic, novelty. Fantastic, novelty. Fantastic, novelty. Fantastic, novelty. Fantastic, novelty. Fantastic, novelty. And just those who are watching, feel how your body, your physiology is shifting as we do this. Fantastic, novelty. Fantastic, novelty. And then they're going to blend together, right? And then now let's just make something up. So the code that came to mind is creating a new lens, right? So now this is our lens for fantastic novelty. So when you're stuck in a rut, anytime today or anytime throughout the rest of your life, make the code for yourself and look through the new lens of fantastic novelty and see what you find.
Okay. It's all in the mind, as we know. I mean, again, I told you earlier about, you're the star of your movie, and it's all up to you to think positive, I mean, I tell people to get rid of negative thinking and negative people in their lives because they're cancerous. I believe they're cancerous, negativity. And it's a flat line, a negative sign. And when you put a cross across it, it's positive. It's twice as strong, if not more.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
Being positive is so important. And laughing and smiling are the most important things you could do. There was a guy I was told recently that was on his deathbed. They gave him not much time to live. And they started making him laugh. And he recovered.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And you can, if you want to will yourself dead, you can die in a heartbeat. And if you want to will yourself to cure yourself, you can. The power of the mind, we don't have any, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
The telomeres, you know about the telomeres.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't. And so we had a podcast on the telomeres. And people are living to over 200 years now by keeping their telomeres healthy. And it's just a process of learning. And what we're doing with the mental state, is convincing people that it's up to them to feel good,
Right.
And let's go to negative things, right? Negative experiences. Maybe you were raped or beat as a child. To me, that's baggage and it's garbage and you should throw it away. And my philosophy is forget about it. Now, I was orphaned at 11, abandoned at 2, orphaned at 11, had probably the worst childhood you could imagine. House burning down, 3 sets of deadbeat parents, But I came out okay. I'm now the most positive person on the planet.
Right.
Right?
Maybe because you had the experience of being cracked open, which allowed you to reach for
Well,
something.
what I say is if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Indeed.
So I don't use that as a crutch for anything.
No, of
I
course.
go forward and I tell people, stop bringing up the past.
Yes.
It's the past,
Yeah.
Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today's a gift.
Right.
That's why they call it the present. But I don't know why people want to carry. It's like I liken it to the person on the street that's homeless with a bunch of shopping carts full of trash. That's their life. But I mean, they're carrying around trash.
Indeed.
Throw your trash away.
Yeah.
Live for the present. Don't be so concerned about the future. Because if you think it's all going to work out, it will. I think, therefore, I am.
really feel that app in the field.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
One of the techniques I use, I talked about a little bit, the network spinal. It is a chiropractic technique. There's no pop. It just releases your own sound wave automatically. It took a long time to get across the boards, and now Deepak Chopra uses it. Tony Robbins uses it to really open back up the parts of the body associated with trauma. And all it does is puts your sound wave or your chi back into that part of the body. So from an engineering standpoint, what happens is if you don't have enough energy to deal with a situation, right? Like I've had experience as a small child as well, so have you. What happens is your operating system, your spinal cord, your brainal cord actually goes whoop, and it contracts in a certain area. And it says, oh, can't deal with that. I'm going to section off that part of the body. Then later on in life, you're feeling good, you know, money's good, you're not in survival mode anymore. All of a sudden, you have the energy to be able to access that part of the body. Or maybe you don't. And so what we do is as that sound wave, as your chi goes through that part of the spinal cord, then that kink gets released and you wiggle and move and you're able to let go, right? Finally.
Now the chi, I heard someone recently say the chi is helped by grounding, by taking.
Oh yes, yeah.
Right.
Well, our job is to bring heaven back to earth, right? I think that's a good analogy for what we all want to do. We want to bring positivity, fantastic realism back to life. But, you know, if we stay in the clouds up here, like what changes are we actually physically bringing? Like every day you take out your camera. So you're bringing something real from you back down with you, right?
Okay.
So that's your way of grounding, bringing it back to our present reality. And so we definitely have to ground. We have to walk in the grass, like you said. There are many ways to do that.
One of the things, because I was orphaned early, and I always felt my parents were up there watching me, right? And they only had 40 years on the rock. So one of my advices to people is what I call heaven and hell. Heaven is when you look back at the time you had on the rock, and this might be for eternity. Think of it as eternity, because we know we don't live for eternal lives physically. Right. So maybe we live 40 years, maybe we live 100 years, but it's a limited time, you know, and the real good people live a couple hundred, right? Yeah. So basically, if eternity exists and you get to look back on your time on the rock, heaven would be saying, I was a good person, I did the right thing, I lived for the day, I was a good person. Hell is to me, is the person said, I'm going to retire at 40, and I'm going to work and not party at all. I'm going to save all my money, and at 40, I'm going to retire and play golf and have fun. And he dies in an auto accident at 39 and a half. He blew 39 and a half years on the rock. That's hell. Imagine having that for eternity, right. That hell. I think there was a Twilight Zone that was kind of like that, that did it. Maybe that was why I got the idea.
Yeah, it's also writing a 4-hour work week. He talks about that.
But it goes back to living and being a good person. Now, as Santa, the last couple of days, with a lot of children, I gave them some good advice. I said, be kind to your brother and sisters and to all your friends. Be polite. Be nice. Be friendly. Be courteous. You know, you get them all the B's. You know, there's lots of B's out there. But most importantly, be fantastic. You know, so I was spreading my little movement. I got to get my little movement in there. But I tell you, there's no more satisfying thing to see a child with their eyes wide open, and because it's almost like I'm God to them. This Santa image, you know, and it's actually changing my life a little bit, you know, because I was never Santa like this. I mean, I'm really Santa.
That's right. And I mean, if we look at like the archetype of the father figure that brings gifts, you know, that's like, how many kids really need that in their lives? So many.
Well, you're blessed if you have parents. You still have parents?
I do. I have an amazing stepdad who's Portuguese Hawaiian, and I actually just shipped my tiny house over to a really rural plot of land that they just bought on the big island of Hawaii. So
I built tiny homes.
You do?
I have a company called Affordable Homes for You.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
I created it for the homeless. Very economical. They're transportable. They're practical. And because I have a charity for veterans, I built it to house veterans. And
oh wow.
It's one of my many projects.
Amazing.
Many hats.
Amazing.
I wear a lot of hats. So you have a little tiny home in Hawaii now.
I do. Well, it's on the boat right now.
Oh, it's on a boat.
So
it's on a slow boat to Hawaii.
It's on the slow boat.
Well, I haven't been to Hawaii many times, but I just it's beautiful. And I've interviewed quite a few Hawaiians, actually, funny enough, in some of my interviews. It's just a magical state, I think it stands out from most all the other ones,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Texas is amazing. California is fantastic, but Hawaii is I would say magical, and it's got a history too. It's got a history of probably a lot of positive people, I imagine, right?
Oh yeah, it definitely does, and even the Hawaiian philosophy of forgiving and healing is really profound.
Forgiving, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Is that what the Hawaiians say?
Yeah.
Do you speak any Hawaiian languages?
Malakaliki maka. Not much.
See, now that laughter you just did made you live 5 minutes longer because it reduced stress, and that's what the word fantastic does.
Yes.
And it just came to me, I don't know how it came to me. People say, how did you come up with the word, And then I learned what the word means in the dictionary and what the word does, and it's an energy, and it's just I'm thrilled to share it with the world now. One of my good friends, John Paul DeJoria, said, "Success unshared is failure," and if you think you're successful, you are. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And my wife thinks I shouldn't tell anyone that I've had 84 different careers. I'm bragging because I got bored. I'm like a little kid. A little kid has a little toy, and if the kid has half a brain, he'll be bored in 5 minutes with the toy, right?
That's right.
And
That's right.
me, I'm bored with doing something that's too easy. I think life is real easy.
I think that's why that word novelty came up in our field because that's you value novelty.
Yes.
Right? And
wow, it's funny
many of us do, yeah.
Funny that comes around like that.
That's right. That's right. And this is what happens. So I believe that we're all psychic, if you will. We all have access to the energy and information between us. It's just that when you're running around stressed out and you're not in your fantastic place, you don't recognize and you don't necessarily trust yourself,
And on that note, do you know about quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement?
Yes.
We could take a piece, well, you know it, but I'm going to teach the audience real quick. I could take a piece of your DNA and go to China with it and monitor it on a computer and have you watch a film that's got emotional ties to it, laughter, sadness, fear, and the same instantaneously, your DNA reacts in China. And that's quantum entanglement. And it was thought of many years ago from the great minds of the great scientists, and they've proven it with scientific equipment.
Well, and that's why your movement with fantastic realism, I want to call it, because we're bringing that to our reality, is so powerful. And that's why being in a place like LA is so powerful, because we're packed in so closely that if there's just one person who starts to change their reality and create more positivity, it's going to affect so many people because we're all packed so closely together that...
Well, here's my thought is, in 5 years from now, if all of a sudden you're driving down the streets in Los Angeles and people are starting to let you in, you're going to say, Dr. Fantastic pulled it off! Because it's about civility, I mean, if the government is not going to make it happen. And the companies and the corporations aren't going to make it happen. It has to come from you and me and the people. It has to come from the people. You probably haven't seen my animated closing. This video, along with all the ones, I have an opening, which is my animated logo with the bee. And by the way, the bee obviously symbolizes pollinating, positivity. Everyone seems to love the bee. Literally, that logo has been seen, this logo right here, has been seen by over 5,000 people. Me personally, showing it to them.
Beautiful.
Every single person loves it.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's funny because Napoleon's symbol was the bee.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it was.
Well, they say without the bees, we wouldn't be here because they pollinate everything. So pollinating positivity and cultivating civility to this movement, I'm really happy to have you part of it because it's going to take an army of ambassadors. You're ambassador, I believe, 117? I think you're the last one to join so far. And, it's just that conscious, maybe that's the key. See, if we have 100,000 ambassadors, all being fantastic, and then even if you're not an ambassador, I have people that aren't ambassadors that are believing in it, And if you've seen my testimonials, oh my gosh. And like just yesterday, I ran into a guy in the hallway, and he said, fantastic. And I said, is it working for you? And he said, yes. Yeah. And when I hear that, it's just so rewarding that I was able to change a few people's lives to start being positive and sharing it. It's a giving thing. Now, I'm trying to get on the Ellen Show. Anybody listening who knows Ellen, I need to be on the show. Now, it's a greedy world and it's selfish. Now, the reason I'm not on the show now is because I'm not a big hit. If I was a big, big star, she'd have me on the show in a heartbeat. But she doesn't want to launch a star. Now, she says at the end of every show, be kind to one another. I don't know if you've ever seen the show.
Yeah.
When you tell someone you're fantastic, you've just been kind to them because you made them smile, which released the endorphins, the dopamine and the serotonin, which made them look good, feel good, and live longer. If that's not being kind, I don't know what is.
That's right.
But the millions of people that listen to her every day, I don't know if they have a mechanism to be kind. And we all have a mechanism because every day for the rest of your life, you're going to be asked how you are. Every single day if you come in contact with humans. And now your mother taught you to think before speaking. So if you can stop for a split second and say, what's the answer that's going to make me feel good, look great, and live longer? And there's only one word.
Fantastic.
Now there is a girl I interviewed, and she said, no, there's another word that makes an answer to that question, and it's fantabulous. That's true. So there are two words, but one is not a word. I mean, one is a great, I don't know what it is. It's a word,
true.
obviously.
That's kind of what I did with Funtastic, too.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, fan-freaking-tastic is the ultimate in positivity, you know. And there's a level above that, which we won't say on the camera,
green.
which I do sometimes on the camera. But it's about having fun in life. Like people say, well, how many people view your videos? I don't care, and I don't know. Because if one person sees this and learns something from it, you and I have done a good thing.
That's right.
And we're having fun now. So it's having fun in the present. It's like everyone's snapping pictures. And they're not living in the present. They're immortalizing. Maybe they don't have bad memories or something, but they're not living in the present. Now, I think we're living in the present because this isn't edited. This isn't scripted. This is just a camera rolling while you and I have coffee. And the dog seems to be having a good time there on your lap, a lap dog. We all love dogs. Now, why is it that when we see a puppy, and maybe we're looking to have a dog, the instant we see that puppy, we fall in love with it? What is that?
So puppies and babies actually release serotonin, happy hormones in our body, and so it's almost like an addictive reaction that when someone sees the baby or sees the puppy, all of a sudden their happy hormones are spiked. And so this is kind of nature's way of keeping propagation of the species going, and it keeps us happy and thinking about the future and what we're leaving to the future of humanity.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all built in.
That's very very nice. Well put. Because it is an amazing thing to see that little puppy and say. Now, I'm very proud to say I have two sons, but Lester has an aura about him. And people would meet him and instantly love him. And I always wondered, you just met him, how could, and it's because he has an aura. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And not everyone has an aura, you know. But maybe we do, and we don't exude it maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he has no ego. And he was a professional tennis player. And that's why he didn't make it to the top, because to be a professional athlete, you have to have a really big ego.
You do. And I mean, it's important to have some ego to do what you came here to do. Like you have a certain amount of ego to be able to, about the Be Fantastic movement, so that you can bring it to the world because you know how important it is. And so there's a balance, right?
And another thing I was thinking too recently is I didn't get much love as a child. Probably zero. And I say, is it wrong that I want people to love me now? I don't think it's wrong, and maybe I need that, and hopefully it's not a drug or anything like that, but it's certainly rewarding when I'm Santa. Now, that same thing could transpire for the rest of my life, going around the world spreading the movement. You know, I mean, I will be thrilled.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
maybe it's compensation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm
To be honest, you know?
I'm going to quote Dr. Epstein, who created the network spinal technique. And in his research, he's seen that we are biochemically rewarded for lighting people up.
Oh.
So every time we light somebody up, we get happy hormones through our body, right? So,
That's fantastic to hear.
Nature's way, yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you say the word fantastic.
Right, fantastic.
Because they can't help but smile.
That's right.
So I wrote a poem. Did you? You haven't heard my poem yet,
No,
right?
I want to hear it. Though.
Oh my goodness! So I can't recite it by.
Okay.
But it's about fantastic, And one of the lines is, the word fantastic makes you smile when spoken and makes you smile when heard, but it rhymes. It goes, the whole thing is a rhyme. And it's not a bad poem.
Nice.
I think you'll love it when you read it.
Wonderful.
You
Yeah,
got to start catching up on all my videos.
I'm looking forward to it.
I've got 1,100 videos.
Oh, wow.
See, the thing is, when you're living life, you really don't have time to watch television or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, and because you're living life.
That's
You
right.
know, and you've got a goal. You want to try to help the world, and so I'm thinking, how can anyone have time to watch my thing? You know.
Yes.
And some people say, make it really short. And some people say, well, if you don't make it short, you can't monetize. See, I'm not monetizing my YouTube show, by the way. This is something that, and I tell people, you can make a fortune on YouTube if you have the same subject, the same time, whether it's eating, whether it's picking your nose, it doesn't matter what it is. If you do it all the time, the same, you'll get a following.
Yeah.
Now here, I'm talking to psychologists, I'm talking to janitors, I'm talking to all different types of people. The only commonality is it's an interview with Dr. Fantastic. And so sometimes I get amazing amount of hits. Matter of fact, I just found out there's a button I can push to say my most popular videos.
Oh, wow.
My most popular video has 4,400 views.
That's a lot of views.
That's a lot of
It's
views.
a lot.
You know, and so that's kind of neat to know that. But it's an evolution. Life is an evolution.
Yes.
You want to learn, and you don't want to have any fear about learning, because I have no fear. I have no fear, never had any fear. When I did my radio show, I've got 8 shows now. I've done 8 episodes. It's called the Dr. Fantastic Show. My podcast is called Dr. Fantastic Interviews. And I had no fear of doing it. And they said, well, you want to come in and do a rehearsal? I said, no, I don't do rehearsals.
No.
I'm going to come in, and if I fall on my face, I fall on my face, right?
That's right.
And my 8th one is better than my first one, because I'm learning. And I'm also an actor as well. And my agents took the time to listen to my first one, and they said, and I wanted their reaction. I said, now be honest. I don't like yes men. I want you to tell me what's wrong with the Be Fantastic movement, not how much you like it.
Right.
And it was really beautiful. They said, every child in America needs to hear this message.
Aww.
And that's the message. That's why I want to be part of, that's why I am part of the Mother of Humanity project,
Right.
because all the mothers of the world need to teach their children to be fantastic. Now, I know some very, very important people in life, and one of them said, this movement is fantastic, but it's going to take 2 generations for it to work.
Sure.
You know?
And that makes sense when you look at epigenetics, right?
Well,
Our
and
genetics
it's
are-
proven, I've already proven to myself, because one of the guys I met, he was already saying fantastic. There's only 98 out of 5,000 so far have ever met someone in their life that I've talked to that said that they're fantastic. His grandfather was one who said he's fantastic.
Oh, wow.
And it was so powerful from as a child, he's taught his kids to say fantastic.
Fantastic.
So like I said, that's proof right there that it takes 2 generations, but I'm getting it on a bigger scale, you know, and I'm very happy to do it. I'm very happy that you're on board, and we're going to have more of these conversations. We just talked for 36 minutes, if you can believe
Wow. I can't even believe that.
that. Right? And again, never an edit. I mean, the camera faulted because it wasn't charged enough, but it is what it is.
That's right.
It's reality. It's you and me trying to share our passion for happiness and for positivity with the world. And I can't imagine, here's another thing you haven't heard, one of my theories. Life is a series of left and right turns. When every turn you make is the correct turn, because you didn't make the other one. For us to meet the other day, you had to make 30 some odd years of left and right turns. I had to make 65 left and right years of left and right turns for us to meet that day.
Right.
And one other turn, we would never have met. And that's what destiny is. And when I tell people, believe in your turns, believe it's 110% that was the correct turn, because you didn't make the other one. So, but when this happens, when you believe your turns are correct, you're going to get confidence in your decision making, because that turn was a decision. When you get confidence in your decision making, you're going to get success in life and theory happiness.
Yes.
Now, in closing, we're going to talk my theory of happiness and your theory of happiness. My theory of happiness is when you jump out of bed in the morning looking forward to your day. That means you're going to enjoy your day. That means you're going to have fun. And when that happens, you're going to do it well. And when that happens, you're going to make money at it. But the money is what we need.
Secondary, yeah.
It's secondary, but it's the icing on the cake.
That's right.
Now, I want to hear your definition of happiness.
Yeah. So mine is really about enjoying the magic of every moment. every moment there's a miracle happening. Can you see it?
Right. And
How can you
open
see
your
it?
minds to it. Yeah. And don't look at the negativity. Human for people to be negative. I mean, it really is. I would say the majority, I hate to say that, but the majority are negative. They're thinking what a lousy lot they have, what they were born the wrong color. I call it the blame game. Now they blame their parents. They blame where they were born. They blame the religion. They blame everything and everyone but themselves. And you got to take accountability for your action. You're born black. You're born ugly. You can still make a fantastic life. And you should never say ugly. It's not politically correct. But I mean, everyone's beautiful. I always like to say.
Yeah, and I mean, really, the question is, how can you increase your energy state, right, to be able to have a different perspective, to be able to see magic in the moment.
Right.
So.
And the moment, that's all we have is that moment.
That's right. You can be fantastic. If you can't get there, you can add some fantastic novelty with the motion, right? Because our physiology is built into our hormones, to our thought patterns.
And I like your window analogy thing because I think our eyes are our window to the world. Mm-hmm. And I think I was fortunate enough to be, well, first I was born in upper middle class, upper class in Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. Then I was removed to lower class and lived in commune with beatniks in the hills.
Right. Full range of human experience.
And then when I was fostered, I was put in middle class America. Mm-hmm. So I have the top, the bottom, and the middle. And when I hitchhiked around the world at 17, I put all those elements into my view on the world. Right. And to this day, I work with billionaires and know them, and homeless people. Mm-hmm. There's still the whole spectrum still. Yeah. And it's fascinating. We're all human beings. We all have emotions, and we need to be kind to one another. That's the big word. Now, I have a bumper sticker that says, "Be fantastic." And I came about it because I interviewed a girl from Brazil, and she said they have bumper stickers there that say, "Be kinder."
Oh.
Isn't that great?
Like it, yes.
Yeah. So that was my inspiration on the bumper sticker, which I'll give you if you like.
Fantastic.
And do you have your button yet? Your Be Fantastic button?
It's on my coat.
Oh, yeah, it's on your coat.
Coat is right over here.
So you got your button. Good. Isn't that a great button?
Yeah, it's a fantastic button.
It's a fantastic
Actually,
button.
I do love the bee.
Yeah, well, everyone seems to love bees. And again, that was just, it's all about left and right turns, just happenstance. I mean, for the words "be fantastic" to mean what they mean, earth and health, and the word fantastic, I didn't know what it meant when I started. Yeah. I mean, all this is just my good luck in life. Right. It's you make your luck.
Destiny.
You make your destiny, you make your luck, you make your bed, you know, and I want everyone to know that it's up to them. Mm-hmm. And don't do the blame game. Don't blame your parents. Don't blame your color. Don't blame your religion or your place in life. Mm-hmm. Because the poorest people in the world are the happiest.
Yes.
And billionaires, boy, I tell you, and if you're a billionaire, you certainly don't want to tell anyone you're a billionaire because everyone will be after you for your money. Mm-hmm. It's such a greedy, selfish world, but we can change it. We really can change it. And I hope that the Be Fantastic movie can do that. And with your help, we're going to do it.
Let's do it.
And you are fantastic, everybody. It's docree.com. She'll be so I'm sure you're going to attend my motivational meetings once a month. The next one is January 31st, everybody. That's the next one. It'll be in the marina, more than likely. And everyone have a fantastic holiday season. Have a fantastic Christmas. Be fantastic. And you are fantastic.
So are you, Dr. Fantastic. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I am fantastic, la la la. I am fantastic.
Overpopulated cities around the world have caused people to become a greedy, selfish, and litigious society. Would you like to be happier, live longer, never be forgotten, and help make the world a kinder, more civil place? It's actually easier than you think. Every day you're asked, "How are you?" Instead of saying good, say, "I am fantastic." It will make you look better, feel great, and reduce your stress. Making the world a better place starts with each person. Please join the Be Fantastic movement today. What you want to be, you can be. Be fantastic.
I met Dr. Fantastic along life's way, and I heard him say, "You gotta say, I am fantastic, la la la."